In today's video, we are going to be putting up Polyatomic Camo against the Orion and trying to see which one of the two mastery camos that we have inside of the game is better. Now, first thing is first, they are very different, but since they are the last camos that we are unlocking and they do take quite a bit of time to unlock, I think it's only fair that we see which one is the best. Now, personally, this will be my opinion. You might share a different one, and I will try to delve into the different categories and different ways as to why, in my opinion, a different camo is better than another. If you're new here, please subscribe. We are less than 100 subscribers away from hitting our goal of 35,000 subscribers. I very much appreciate it, and also be sure to drop a like on the video. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So if you don't know, Polyatomic is our purple camo and Orion is our space one. The first thing I want to cover is how easy they are to unlock, and this one is a bit complicated because the way you unlock the Polyatomic camo specifically is you first have to unlock gold on all weapons inside of, let's say, the assault rifles, submachine guns. Then on top of that, you need to complete platinum on all of those weapons once you have that unlocked after completing all the gold weapons. And then once you have all of the platinums on 51 weapons that are inside of the game right now or in the future on all 51, you will be able to then unlock the Polyatomic Camo challenge, which then you will have to complete on all weapons, which is interesting because you'll be able to choose what weapons you want the Polyatomic Camo first and stuff like that. But once you have all 51 of those, you will then unlock automatically the Orion Camo. So in a way, you can treat Orion as our, let's say, end of it all, Damascus like camo that we unlock after we complete all challenges. The reason I'm saying this is because each one of the mastery camos specifically says complete this amount of challenges to unlock this challenge, so on and so forth, and then the Orion camo challenge simply says just unlock all 51 polyatomic weapons. Now the thing with this is obviously the Orion camo is just a tiny bit more difficult, but at the same time easier. I would argue that the polyatomic one will be more annoying just because you have to complete it on every single weapon, which, let's say there's 51 weapons inside the game. You do them at random, you might kind of have to go then through every single gun and be like, okay, do I have the polyatomic camo on this? No. Okay, do I have it on this? Yes. And you just have to go through them if you don't keep track. I would really like if there was like a counter that just lets you know in each class how many polyatomics you have, because that just counts them all overall, like 51 weapons. Same with the platinum one, it's just like kind of 40 polyatomic to unlock. It's kind of complicated and it could definitely benefit with some better UI. And just the fact that with Orion, when you complete the 51st weapon with the polyatomic camo challenge, you'll just instantly unlock Orion on everything. So this one is a bit complicated. I don't know which one to give it to, so I'll just kind of even it out and just give it to them both and say that they're both equally as difficult and easy at the same time, since from what we know, the polyatomic camo challenge is only like getting headshots for most of the weapons, which isn't anything difficult. Now let's talk about the camos themselves. First up, we have the polyatomic camo. This is a very vibrant, shiny, nice looking camo that is covered in this like interesting pattern. If you're in your creator class and you look at this camo, you can actually kind of be like, oh, is this textured? Does this have depth to it? And once you load it inside of the game, it's more of like an actual just camo or wrap that's put onto the weapon that gives this vibe that this should have depth to it, or at least it should be sticking out like these kind of huge diamond crystals shards. That it's interesting to put it in words. Now the camo coverage on this is really good and interesting in my opinion, because there's some parts of the weapons, like let's say the stock, magazine, and other parts that are usually the darker black bits on a weapon that have the same pattern but more of the matte black on it. And one thing to say is this isn't animated, but I think it looks amazing inside of the game. On top of this, one disadvantage is that it doesn't look great inside of the darker maps, which we don't have a lot right now, but let's say in the future we do have a lot of maps that are darker or just don't have the best lighting. This weapon, or at least this camo, just won't stand out as much as I would really like it to. And now moving on to the Orion camo, the camo coverage on it isn't the best, and that's just because it has a lot of this similar to the way Polyatomic has with its matte black mix of purple, but on that it looks good because it just looks like it's the full weapon coverage of this purple crystal shard look to it, whereas with Orion it's more of a matte black mixed with these different colors that are barely visible, but they remind me a lot of this Damascus look on them, or at least this pattern that Damascus went for. It's kind of like an oil spillage in a way on the actual magazines and other bits, but for the main important parts of the weapon it's actually looking pretty good, but not the best. I will get into how in my opinion this camo could improve improve, and I won't lie, I am a slight bit disappointed. It could be the best camo we've had in a very long time, but there's just a lot of things holding it back. First of all, we have multiple different colors on the weapon because this camo is called Orion, and if you don't know what Orion is, it is an actual real life thing that happens in space. I think it's like this dust cloud mixed with stars, and it's just very nice looking in real life, and then when you slap it on a weapon, for some odd reason it looks really nice, but not all the time. You see, this camo is actually animated and it goes through multiple different colors. That doesn't look like it's kind of floating as if it was supposed to be space. It just looks like it's flowing down off of the weapon, but you don't really see it. When you look at the animated camo, it just seems to be always going down, and one thing to say is the animation is super slow. So I guess it is a plus from Polyatomic that it is animated, but the fact that you can barely notice it, a lot of people are just always saying it should have been animated, it should have been animated. Well, it is, but it's just like really slow that you can barely see it. Now the colors that it goes through are like dark brown, orangish, light blue, really light blue, purple, this darker blue. It's just multiple different colors that if we didn't have as much of the brown and orange, I think this camo would be literally top tier even with how slow the animation is. Sometimes just that brown kind of ruins it for me and makes it a bit ugly in a way. And going back to the whole idea of similar with Polyatomic, how it looks in the dark, I think Polyatomic looks better. Like you can sometimes barely even see on certain maps the actual Orion camo, which is a bit disappointing. And again, it goes back to the whole idea of having that orange dark brown color in it. But I get it, you're basing it off of the real life thing, which it does have, but it just looks better in real life. And that's kind of the main thing that I could say. The camo coverages, as I said, like they look good depending on the weapon, and sometimes they can look bad. Similar with Polyatomic and Orion, I think the best camo coverage inside of this game is just gold. It covers absolutely every single bit of a weapon. Actually, even say Platinum has really good coverage inside of this game, but it's Platinum, like it's just great camo. And then Polyatomic and Orion take this approach of, yeah, we'll cover the weapon, but not absolutely everywhere. I think if a weapon just had one camo set and just like fully cover the whole weapon, that is instantly an amazing camo in the game. Which one do I think is better? For now, I'd say Polyatomic. We are still like only a week into the game's launch, which is barely any time. We're still set to get season 1 soon, and the thing with this is the camos will probably experience a change, which I kind of want to talk about now. If they were to get a change, very unlikely for anyone from Infinity Ward and actually Treyarch, if you didn't know, Treyarch made these camos, to watch this video. But one way you could make both of these better is, first of all, you could add that texture depth to the Polyatomic camo. Just make it 3D. I think it would look way better. Don't make the spikes or whatever the bits of the like crystal shards stick out as much. I think it would just make it look that much more special. Obviously, with the bits that are matte black mixed, I think those should be solid, like no texture to it, just like that interesting wrap that you already have on it. So just leave that bit, and the rest just, you know, add depth to it. But aside from that, I don't think it needs changes. Just looks amazing. And I think on brighter maps, thankfully Warzone, Al Mazrah, DMZ will have a really bright map, and let's be honest, we'll be playing that mostly. So I think these camos will look great on there. And now for Orion, I think there's way more to say about this than Polyatomic as to how to improve it. First of all, bump up that saturation. Keep those colors in that I mentioned, but looking at this comparison that I'm putting up on your screen, if you bump up that goddamn saturation, this thing would look amazing. And next thing is speed up that animation just by a few percentages. As you can see in this video, I sped it up as fast as I could, and it looks good. Doesn't have to be ridiculously fast, but we've seen different camos inside of Call of Duty, especially with Cold War or even Vanguard. Like the speed on them is pretty good. It's pretty fast. It covers the weapon, sometimes even too fast. So you could just find an in the middle so it actually is visible. And yeah, just mainly bump up that saturation, keep those colors, keep everything you have with it. Don't change it too much. Just saturation will make such a big difference. And also lastly, of course, just speed up that actual animation on it, because that will just make it that bit more special. Anyway guys, this is going to be for the video. Comment down below if you did watch this far, what in your opinion is better and why. And again, these probably will experience a change. If they experience a ginormous drastic change, then I will be uploading an updated version of this. And also, depending on when you're watching this, I probably already made this video, but I am planning to make a video where we're gonna go from Modern Warfare 2019 to Cold War to Vanguard, lastly to obviously Modern Warfare 2, and check out all of them actual mastery camos and decide which one is the best. Cold War just has peak camos. Treyarch just knows how to make camos, you know, like they're just so damn good. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. 35,000 subscribers, here we come, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.